Hello and welcome. This is Penny Sansevieri with Author Marketing Experts. And today we're going to talk about how to sell more books. So, first off, pitching influencers and getting great blurbs for your book. That is always a fantastic thing because people like what other people like. And if you can get big names on your book, um, it'll help to draw more attention to it. The one thing that you want to make sure about is you really want to go after people who have an interest in your topic because it'll make the process so much easier. So let's look about, obviously networking is a great place to start. You never know who people in your network know, but also research. So research people who are high profile enough, but have a direct interest in your topic. So don't pitch somebody just because it would be a good name to have on the book. It'll be much harder to get a review or a blurb from them because maybe it's not their topic. Remember that it's not about you. It's really important to, as you're building relationships and you're trying to get reviews and blurbs, how can you be helpful before you seek help? So I always try, for example, if I'm looking at getting a blurb from a high profile person, I'm probably going to start following them on Twitter. Maybe I'm going to start commenting on their blog or retweeting or sharing their information. Really, you want to be helpful before you ask for help. Live events are another really great way to get attention for your book. A lot of times, what I'll do if I'm looking to get a blurb for a particular book or even for a client is, going to a live event where the person, so my target blurbee is going to be speaking. Um, let's talk a little bit about touching base. Now, we've done celebrity endorsements, we've done big, CEO corporation endorsements, so CEOs at really, really big organizations. And the thing about that is that you've got to really be patient. Um, we I generally recommend to our authors who are seeking big blurbs that they be prepared to send another packet. Be prepared that the celebrity or the CEO or whoever you're targeting has lost your first packet. Because if they're getting a lot of stuff in the mail, it could wind up stuck in the mailroom or they just didn't get it or they misplaced it or whatever. So be very cautious when you touch base. I would really recommend making sure that it's okay to send the package first if you're sending a book for review consideration or for blurb consideration, but give yourself plenty of time because it's taken me it's taken me in some cases 9 months to a year to get an endorsement from a celebrity, depending on the level of celebrity that you're going after. All right. So the next thing is picking your publisher wisely. So I really recommend considering this, and there's a blog post link to all of these various topics so you can go a little bit deeper in that. But you want to be careful what publisher you pick because things like pricing, so overpricing the book, not letting you do an ebook promotion, not offering publisher discounts. Those are things that can really, really affect the success of your book or the lack thereof. How do you do book updates? So, when can you expect, if you need updates to your book or your description, or let's say you got that blurb from that really big and important celebrity or successful person in your market, can you have it added to your Amazon book page? So, those things are important, much like ebook promos, your Amazon listing. And back to book updates for a second. Let's say, for example, your book gets released and something something happens in your industry and suddenly a good portion of the book is out of date. You want to ask questions like, how do I make updates to this book? And if the answer is you don't make updates, that could seriously and significantly affect the success of the book, certainly your integrity as an author. So let's talk for a second about some other success tools. So blogging, I know blogging seems really boring, but blogging is a great way to get more attention to your website. Being on social media, but remember that you don't have to be everywhere, just everywhere that matters. So don't feel like you have to be on every single social media site in order to be successful. Um, but you do need to be consistent because I think that's one of the biggest, most important things is you want to join the conversation. So you want to make sure that you're enhancing the conversation that's going on in your market, but also do so consistently. So don't, hop on and off of Facebook or Twitter once a month. The same thing goes for blogging. I recommend that you blog, you know, at least twice a week. I think is a pretty safe, is a pretty safe bet. Um, and the other thing that you can do is guest blogging, whether it's on your site or or on somebody else's site, and offer yourself up as a potentially as a guest blogger. Um, Stay informed. Make sure that you know what's going on in your industry, that you can. It may not only be a conversational piece um, for the work that you're doing on your blog and in social media, but it could also help to enhance whatever it is that you're doing, um, outside of that. Now, what about um, what about metrics? So what do we need to know about metrics? What makes the most sense? What can you sort of bank on? And the truth of the matter is that book sales, you know, are really a bad way to measure whether something's working or not. I recommend looking at things in terms of, for example, if you're on Facebook or if you're on Twitter or if you have a video on YouTube. I did a session earlier today. I did an Ask Penny video session earlier today. And somebody asked me, they said, well, how can you make money with a book video? And I'm like, well, you can't really make money with a book video. A book video or a book trailer helps to enhance your book promotion overall. So it's really about another piece of the puzzle that helps to bring people to your message, right? So some people like videos, some people like to see quotes on Facebook, those types of things. But in order to determine if it's working, you need to see, are you actually getting some visibility from it? Are people watching the video? Are people liking your updates? If it's not working, maybe you're doing it wrong, right? Bottom up marketing. A lot of authors don't like this term, but bottom up marketing is really where you really want to start from the bottom up. So in other words, um, you know, e- everybody wants to kind of fire out of the gate and be on Oprah or be in O Magazine or be on the Today Show or Good Morning America. But the truth is that most of those places aren't going to feature someone who is just starting out unless you have something that is such an amazing topic that's already making national news. Most of the time we need to start from the ground up. So start with the smaller bloggers, start with your local regional news outlets, build on that, because one thing builds on another. Do stuff that matters. And I realize that sounds kind of, you know maybe a little silly, because why would you do stuff that doesn't matter? But an example is um, we had an author who really wanted to be in the New York Times. He wanted to be in the New York Times in the book review section. His book was already out. His book was self-published, which the New York Times doesn't review self-published books. At least that's not been their policy. And so he decided to run an ad in the New York Times book section. And I don't know whether it'll get seen. I kind of doubt it. But $5,000, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to spend your money that way. So when I say do stuff that matters, do stuff that matters. Treat this like a business. People like what other people like. So reviews, consistently going after and getting reviews. People say to me, what sells books? And I really wish that I had an answer for that. I don't know what sells books, what one thing sells books. What I do know is that if you are consistently getting in front of your audience, and that's what we try to do with our marketing efforts for our authors, if you consistently get in front of your audience, your audience will respond to that. They'll see the book over and over and over again and go, "Oh, maybe this is something that I would like." So when I talk about do stuff that matters, what I also mean is do stuff that matters to your reader too. The final point on this is be consistent. So nothing else matters if you are not consistent with your marketing. And I think that maybe of all of the things that I could share with you today is probably the most important is be consistent. If you're going to blog consistently. If you're going to be on social media, be on social media consistently. Don't do one thing and not continue to follow up. So those are my tips. There's a link to the blog post at the end of the session, and I'll also post it in the discussion to get more information, to go in depth on any of these topics. This is Penny Sansevieri with Author Marketing Experts, and thank you so much for watching.